dwellers, and welcome to the basement. Obviously, tonight was the 2017 WWE Royal Rumble pay per view, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on all the matches of a number of different things. But tonight, this is going to be a long video, so strap yourselves in. I have in front of me, and I will be posting this on my website, my fredkazinsbasement.com, all the notes I took, things that I jotted down, that while watching tonight's show. Overall, this was a very good pay-per-view event from top to bottom. A couple weaknesses here and there, and I'll get to those as we go through things match by match. I will try and do this as quickly as possible, but we got the Rumble match itself, and I took, and depending on, of course, the nature of the bout, I took more notes on some matches than others at various points in time. So let's get started. We'll kick things off. We'll go in match order here. We'll start off with the pre-shows, work our way up to the Rumble match itself. Match number 1 of the night, Becky Lynch, Naomi, Nikki Bella taking on Alexa Bliss, Natalya, and Mickie James. Alexa Bliss is, of course, the reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Match started at about 5:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm saying that because it's now exactly 10:55 p.m. on my clock. So, give you an idea of how long this event was. The match itself, standard 6-man tag. Faces start off on top. Early back and forth, the heels took over before the commercial break because this match took place on the pre-show. Becky played the face in peril, got the hat tag off to Naomi. After a series of, everyone gets their big moves in, Naomi goes one-on-one with Alexa and pins her following a split-legged moonsault. Match was about 9 minutes and change in length. Totally fine as an opener. There was a cool spot in it early in the match, a triple vertical suplex from the baby faces to the heels, as my Twitter is blowing up. So, match number 2 of the night was for the Raw Tag Team Championship. 2 referees were assigned to the bout. Cesaro and Sheamus were defending against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. We got new tag team champions, Anderson and Gallows defeat Sheamus and Cesaro following, what was it? It was a magic killer to Sheamus. Cesaro dumps Anderson out and dumps Gallows out of the ring. Anderson rolls him up, hooks the tights to steal the victory. Couple of other, so that's the match result. The match itself was totally solid. Cesaro and Sheamus are a great tag team. They complement each other perfectly, and their high impact move sets make them very entertaining to watch as a duo. Anderson and Gallows are what they are, generic and cookie cutter. They basically punch the clock type guys, come to the ring and work. That's basically what they are. And that's what we got here. We got a solid little tag team match. I saw the title change hands. The second referee came into a factor here. The first referee got knocked out. How did he get knocked out? Did I forget to write that down? How the referee got knocked out? Yes, I did. No, Sheamus accidentally bro kicked the one ref. The second ref came into the ring. Sheamus ends up losing his cool, and it ends up what ended up getting him caught in the Magic Killer, while Cesaro was the legal man. The match itself was about a little over 10 minutes, give or take. Judging by my timestamps that I have here, I literally have it at 6:04 p.m. the match started, and about 6:16 the match ended. Rough estimates here. Third match was Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. This was incredibly short as expected, and barely even 5 minutes. I think I said I expected Nia to win in 3. It was squash shitty. The Sasha basically got demolished, which was what needed to happen here. Sasha did get some flurry of offense in, did happen to lock in the Bank statement, but Nia is just too big, too strong, and was just too overpowering. It's as simple as that. It was the classic case of a good big person beating a good little person, which is how these type of matches should always go. Once in a blue moon, like maybe once, at the most twice a year, that a much smaller competitor should beat someone that's literally twice their size. At least in the world of professional wrestling, that's just my opinion. The finish was basically Nia powering out of a pinfall attempt from Sasha's double knees and squashing her with that pop-up Samoan drop. Again, very short match. Shawn Michaels hit the ring, basically apparently a tease that he was going to announce that he was going to enter the Rumble, but he talks about his match with Sid from 20 years ago. And it does the whole thing of wondering who will win the Rumble, gauging names like Brock, Goldberg, Strowman, and Undertaker, with only the Undertaker getting a positive reaction. More than likely, this is because of the Undertaker's legendary status, but also because he is also from Texas. And we're moving right along here. All right, 5 minutes and change in. We're up to match 4. We're up to the actual show itself. Match 4, Women's Championship, Raw brand. Charlotte Flair defending against Bayley. Charlotte has been, of course, champion since winning the title from Sasha at Roadblock last month. Bayley's entrance blew the roof off the Alamo Dome. This match started at about 7:09. These two had incredible matches down at NXT during Charlotte's reign as NXT Women's Champion. This match was no exception. It's certainly back and forth to start off a bit. One thing I like about matching up Bayley with Charlotte is that Bayley always keeps Charlotte on task. And when Charlotte works against Sasha, Sasha is someone who's more worried about getting her own stuff in and taking high risk and high bumps, and that basically doesn't play well to Charlotte's strengths or lack thereof as a performer. Also, when Charlotte is on offense against someone like Bayley, we get to see the perfect dynamic of heel versus babyface. In terms of character, the crowd was 100% against Charlotte and 100% behind Bayley. That goes to show when something's done right, it's very effective and translates to the people as it should. A big example of this is Charlotte pointing out Bayley and to the crowd saying, "She's just a fan, she's just like you," which leads to Bayley's big fire-up moment. There was a big near fall with Bayley doing a Macho Man-like elbow. Uh, and we saw the Charlotte use the ropes when applying the figure 4. Charlotte also appeared to have her lip or something busted open in her mouth during the match. There was a little bit of blood. Finish was rather ugly. Charlotte's pitched up on the corner turnbuckle. Bayley goes up to hugplex her off. Charlotte shoves her away. Bayley hits the ring apron, and Charlotte hits the natural selection on Bayley on the ring apron, rolls her into the ring, pins her 1, 2, 3. So Charlotte's streak of being 16-0 in championship matches on pay-per-view continues. She retains the women's title. Match itself went about somewhere about 13-15 minutes, somewhere there's about. And that brings us to the garbage match of the evening. The Universal Championship match, no disqualifications, hence why I said the garbage match. Chris Jericho suspended above the ring inside of a shark cage, so he can't interfere. That wasn't going to happen to keep him out. And as Kevin Owens defending the Universal title against Roman Reigns, Owens has of course been champion since the August 29th edition of Monday Night Raw. Owens comes out first with Jericho, primarily because Jericho is going into the shark cage. Reigns comes out, booed out of the building. And something I've noticed, if you ever look at Roman Reigns' main event pay-per-view record over the past couple years, it's basically been a ton of gimmick matches, mainly because he has no offense beyond a few moves. I mean, this guy is more limited than Kevin Nash is these days. Kevin Nash can step into a ring today and will have a more entertaining singles match than Roman Reigns ever will. And Nash is obviously well past, is in his 50s at this point, approaching his 60s, and has had tons of surgeries on his knees. Roman Reigns is a flop of the highest order. Simple as that. That said, this was a garbage match. When it got started, initially it was like Jericho and Owens attack Owens before the match started. And the match only would begin when Jericho gets put into the shark cage. Eventually, that did happen. But we saw a lot of props. There was brawling in the crowd. We saw tables. The steel steps being used, chairs, tons of chairs being used. And high risk spots that basically will make this match your typical indie show done by Combat Zone Wrestling or any small time bingo hall promotion that focuses on hardcore wrestling. If you're into that sort of thing and you enjoyed it, great. For me, this was like, it went too damn long for what it is because Roman has no fucking offense. And I'm no fan of Kevin Owens at all. But at the very least, Owens in an extended match has enough variety to justify a match going 20 plus minutes. Roman Reigns doesn't freaking have that. And that's why they put him in all these freaking gimmick matches. There's another word I want to use. Um, Other highlights of the match, the intrigue of this match, and it came into play as my Twitter continues to blow up here. Owens built this tower of steel chairs early in the bout, and it appeared I was going to powerbomb Roman through it. Obviously, this will come around to bite Owens in the proverbial in his rather large tuchus as he went crashing through it, following one of many Superman punches seen throughout this match. I actually lost count. Rewatch this match again. Take a shot every time Roman Reigns does a Superman punch. Your river will thank you for it. Uh, but yeah, Owens ends up crashing through this tower of chairs late in the bout. Roman puts him through an announce table, and the match is thankfully saved as such by Braun Strowman running in, chokeslamming Roman, putting him through an announce table, putting him through power slamming him through a table that's propped up inside the ring, which allows Owens to get the win. There's actually some logic behind this. Because Roman, has speared Strowman in recent weeks a couple of times, so this is a feud there that would obviously keep Roman busy, based on other things that I'll end up talking about later tonight. But again, this match went way too damn long for the result and what took place. Yeah, the WWE probably could have made this match 10 minutes shorter, and probably given more time to another bout or get another match on the card. Just saying. There was a backstage segment with all the authority figures, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon around the Rumble tumbler. And it goes to show how little the WWE is, what they're going to be continuing doing with Sami Zayn, making him an annoying little douche. When he goes to pick his number, he actually annoys Daniel for taking way too damn long, which leads Dean Ambrose to come in, just pick his number, and then take Sammy's ball. They put the numbers in the ball stings to open it for Sammy, and says, "You're number 8," and that's the entire segment there. If it's a show that Sami Zayn is not worth investing in as a character, this definitely shows it. The Cruiserweight Championship match occurred, and this match got started about 8:23. It was Rich Swann defending against Neville. Swann was champion since the November 29th episode of 205 Live. This match started off fairly even. It was a nice up-tempo pace. There was a few stunning flips from Swann. All the stuff that's typical of a cruiserweight match. Neville didn't end up dominating a good chunk of the bout, really playing into the fact that he was Swann's mentor, so obviously teach him everything that he knows. It also feds into Neville's heel persona as being the king of the cruiserweights, and also because Neville has a bigger body than Swann. You look at these two standing side by side, one would think that in a straight fight that Neville would whip Swann's ass just based on physical appearance alone. Swann did get some flurries of offense in. Neville bounces him off the barricade a few times. There was a lot of kick exchanges, including a big one. Swann hitting a super kick on Neville as he was coming off the top rope, and then did some 450 tumbleweed, whisper in the wind type looking thing on him on the outside. A big near fall with Swann hitting a roundhouse kick for a 2 count about 10 minutes into the bout. The turning point ended up being Neville crouching Swann on the top rope for a superplex, which was countered. They exchanged a bunch of kicks. Swann counters a German for a roll-up, hits a roundhouse to get a near fall on the roll-up, the pinfall broken up by a rope break on the second instance. The finish end up being Neville hitting a superplex and then locking in his submission hold for the win. Match was about 15 minutes in the proverbial bracket, somewhere there's abouts. Again, match totally what it is, typical cruiserweight match. You know, logically it makes sense for Neville to win. He's the biggest name associated with NXT and the only one that can really NXT 205 Live, and is the only one that gets a consistent reaction on Monday Night Raw. The seventh match of the evening, and obviously the match of the night, was the WWE Championship match, where John Cena once again dragged a actual professional wrestling match out of AJ Styles. You know, you look at all the matches that they have had one-on-one. Cena keeps AJ from doing all that TNA crap that basically justified TNA never pushing him as their top guy during their entire time, because AJ did all the stunts and all this phenomenal stuff. When working against Cena, AJ doesn't do any of that because he's in and is in the ring with a professional wrestler, as opposed to another person who does a bunch of high spot indie nonsense. So it definitely worked. This was an incredible match, and I took a lot of notes on this match actually. Coming into the bout, AJ has been champion since Backlash, so back in September of 2016, obviously. There was no delay in the entrance. Normally, the AJ came out first for some strange reason. But normally when that happens in a match against Cena, there is like a delay between when, you know, the heel is waiting for Cena to make his grand entrance. There was no delay. This is primarily due to the length of the entrance way because it was like the ring was like, they said 50, 60 yards away from the entrance stage. So, which made Cena's jog to the ring, or rather a WrestleMania length when you really think about it. Match got started at about 8:49, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lots of first 10 minutes of the match, lots of back and forth with counters for big move sequences taking place. A lot of it revolved around the five knuckle shuffle. First real big fall came 10 minutes into the back, following Cena's first successful AA, and then he took AJ around the world with one of the damnedest clotheslines I've ever seen. Seriously, if Cena ever wanted to adopt the lariat as an alternative finisher with how he delivers it, I mean, we're talking JBL Stan Hansen levels of lariat power, my friends. Cena could pull it off quite easily. AJ ended up hitting a phenomenal forearm for a near four of his own, which Cena actually kicked out rather strongly. I've sent up a message. There was a great sequence about 15 minutes into the match. AJ locking in a calf crutch serve, but Cena counters into an STF. AJ ends up countering into a roll-up, then an STF of his own. Cena powers out of that, goes to a series of counters, which results in Cena locking in a figure four. AJ gets out of that, counters into a cross arm breaker, which Cena powers out of into a single arm power bomb. Incredible sequence. Incredible sequence. They didn't break any real physical contact until Cena hits that power bomb. The short arm scissors type power bomb. That is wrestling right there. That is how it should be. And sequences like that. And guess what? They were not like breaking out the holds instantly. No, this lasted a few minutes here, which made it work. AJ got a near fall about the 20-minute mark, countering Cena's leg drop and into a power bomb and hitting a Styles Clash. AJ went for a springboard for 50, ate Cena's needs. Cena ends up hitting the Canadian Destroyer, Code Red, whatever you want to call it, for a near fall. And then the finish ended up happening. How I would have preferred the match ended, Cena hitting that super AA. It's happened about 22, 23 minutes into the match and gets it, and that would have been a great finish there. But they end up going another way. Following a Styles Clash, AJ went to set up for a phenomenal forearm, which Cena, basically catches him at the ropes and hits two AAs, hits one, and then rolls through and picks AJ up again and delivers a stiffer one and wins the match about about 25 minutes in, thereabouts. Incredible match. This was a great professional wrestling match. It didn't go too long. Everything flowed nicely. When there was a pause in the action, it made sense. Cena is now a 16-time world champion. There are no complaints about this match. This is about as good of a match as you can get at any point in time. Uh, the question is now, is it better than the Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match at uh, at the UK Championship tournament a couple weeks ago? Um, and I'm gonna say no. It's nearly as good, but it's not. I actually prefer the Dunn Bate match more than I do Cena AJ, mainly because I think there was more of a story being told with Dunn and Bate in that match than there was here. Mainly because there was a lot of going into that, and obviously Bate was going into that match injured, so there was more of an emotional investment there. So that I consider that one better than this match here tonight. All right, so 22 minutes in, and we got the Royal Rumble left, and I am going to run through this as quickly as possible. The winner of the match was, of course, Randy Orton. The match went pretty much a little over an hour. Uh, in terms of length, started about 9:35 p.m. and finished about 10:38 p.m. So obviously, I took some time between, uh, the actual end of the show and getting and summarizing my notes here. Let's see. Superstars entered in at every 2 minutes this year due to the length of the runway, making it a little bit longer. So that's certainly a nice return. It really didn't make no difference because the pacing of this Rumble was rather good. Let's see. We'll run down this here. Big Cass was number one with Enzo Amore. They do their routine with the crowd singing along. Cass ends up calling all 29 other competitors soft. Jericho was number two, Kalisto number three, Mojo was number four, does the pounce a few times, and it's like he's the white Marcus Corvan or Monty Brown. TNA fans, you're welcome for that. Jack Gallagher entered in at number 5. He brought William III, an umbrella with him, which he used as a weapon, including low blowing Chris Jericho with it, as in a crotch shot. Mark Henry, surprise entry at number 6. And he ends up eliminating Gallagher when he comes off the top rope doing like some Mary Poppins like dropkick with the umbrella. Braun Strowman entered at number 7, eliminates Mojo, Cass, Kalisto, and Henry in short order. Sami Zayn enters in at number 8. Jericho spends a lot of time avoiding action. He's outside. He goes hiding outside the ring instead of getting in there, mixing up with Braun. Big Show comes out at number 9, is eliminated by Braun. The entry number 10 was indeed the perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. He joins in with Zayn to double team Braun. Doesn't really go anywhere. Entry at number 11 is James Ellsworth. He has Carmella with him. Ellsworth hesitates getting to the ring, causing a bit of a distraction for Braun, who ends up nearly getting eliminated by Zayn and Dillinger, but he avoids that. Entry number 12 is Dean Ambrose. He dekes Ellsworth into entering the ring, which sees Ellsworth get destroyed by Braun Strowman and promptly eliminated. Dean joins in with Ty and Zayn to triple team Braun. Number 13 is Baron Corbin. 4-on-1 team effort on Braun. He continues to survive. Ty Dillinger is eliminated by Braun during this, so it breaks down to a triple team, but Braun is eliminated by Corbin, which gets a huge pop from the crowd. Jericho ends up getting knocked out during Big Show's entrance time in the ring, which I put in the wrong spot here, mainly because I didn't notice that until I saw Jericho laying out there and then remembering. So it's like my notes are all over the place. Entry number 14 was Kofi Kingston. Number 15 was The Miz. He came out with Maurice. That entrance occurred at exactly 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or about 10:01, depending on your clocks and everything of that nature. Kofi got his big Rumble spot in, and this was a bit weird. He's on the top rope, and Corbin is pointing at him. It's like, yeah, you're scared of me, you're scared of me. And Corbin goes to swipe Kofi's legs out, to get him to fall off the top ring post. Kofi nearly impales himself on it. He falls, it's like he lands, he kicks his feet out, but it lands like chest first onto the ring post, and this nearly slips off, but he manages to catch himself and hold himself up. I won't be surprised if he's going to have a big bruise on his chest in the morning. Number 16 was Jericho. Was Sheamus. Jericho made his way back into the ring, but ends up eating a bro kick from Sheamus. Number 17 was Big E, who when he enters puts an abdominal stretch on Miz and spanks him before teaming with Kofi. Number 18 was Rusev. He had Lana's with him before his entrance. Rusev was wearing a protective mask for his nose was broken on last Monday via a crossbody from Kofi Kingston. So a little karma there for Kofi when one thinks about it. 19 was Cesaro. He did a big swings on everyone, and T's doing it on Sheamus before it was broken up. Number 20 was Xavier Woods. He joins in with Kofi and Big E, so the New Day fight as a unit for a bit. Number 21 was Bray Wyatt. He ends up having a stare down with Woods, revisiting an element from the New Day Wyatt feud of last year. Number 22 was Apollo Crews. And then we got a bunch of eliminations in short order. The entire New Day, Xavier, Kofi, and Big E. Eliminations 10, 11, and 12 by Cesaro and Sheamus in short order. I forgot to type that in there, actually, that Sheamus was involved. Again, these were simultaneous eliminations with a cool spot. Cesaro and Sheamus were then eliminated by Jericho coming up from behind them, so they're eliminated at the same time. It came when Sheamus was trying to eliminate Cesaro, every man for himself. Entry 23 was the eventual winner, Randy Orton. Hits RKOs on Corbin, Kane, and Sami Zayn, who came off the top rope. Jericho, at this point in time, was in the Rumble for over 42 minutes, and this was about 10:18 p.m. Entry number 24 was Dolph Ziggler. He hit super kicks on Wyatt, Orton, Rusev, Miz, and Apollo. Entry number 25 was Luke Harper. He comes in, eliminates Apollo. He appears to target Orton, or that's his intended goal. Wyatt intervenes, tries to, settle peace between the members of his family. Harper takes Wyatt out, and it was going to hit the sister Abigail on Wyatt before Orton intervenes, hitting Harper with an RKO. So there's an interesting element there when you really think about it, because we've seen Eric Rowan feud with Luke Harper, but we haven't really seen. We didn't see Rowan really go up against Wyatt, but now we have Harper in a position where he might be feuding directly against Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. So a lot of different things that could come into play there, coming out of this, of how the tensions have been building over the past several weeks. Entry number 6 was Brock Lesnar, and yeah, he does his thing. So eliminates Dean rather quickly, and Ziggler, and hits F5s on Miz and Orton. Entry number 27 was Enzo Amore, who, to his credit, ran to the ring to face Lesnar, was going to go right at him, and got destroyed via a clothesline. Corey Graves was quite happy with this. And if you're not an Enzo fan, though I'm not sure who isn't an Enzo fan, the guy is charismatic as hell. But yeah, Enzo gets eliminated rather promptly. He's the 18th man out. Jericho appeared to have suffered an ankle injury or something, because he ended up clutching his ankle or following a landing from a clothesline from Brock. So either Brock didn't do enough or Jericho got a bad rotation and landed badly. Entry number 28 was Goldberg. Lesnar literally waits for him in the ring where everyone else is laid out. Goldberg spears Lesnar and eliminates him quickly. So yes, the story is Goldberg has Lesnar's number. So if they are indeed going with this match at WrestleMania, it's going to have to be Lesnar that strikes fast in that match. That's the only way that's going to make sense. Following Lesnar's elimination, Goldberg jackhammers Zayn. Wyatt and Orton double team Goldberg, but he gets a double spear on them. Entry 29 was The Undertaker, and that his entrance was about 10:29, 10:30. He doesn't make the formal entrance. Lights go out. He appears behind Goldberg in the ring. They go face to face. The Taker goozles Goldberg, but is broken up quickly by Rusev and Corbin. Rusev and Corbin are tossed out by Goldberg and Undertaker, respectively. Harper is eliminated by Goldberg, who is then promptly eliminated by The Undertaker. So big things there. So now you have this possibility of a match of Goldberg versus The Undertaker for WrestleMania. But I don't think that's going to end up being the case there. No. Because number 30, and you want to talk about a freaking waste of space. Roman Reigns, of all people, was number 30. And he is booed out of the freaking building for the second time tonight. And he ends up going, stares down Taker as he makes his way to the ring. And you have a face-to-face. No one wants this at all. No one in their right freaking mind wants Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. But here's what... But, more than likely, this is going to end up being the case for WrestleMania. Because if they're not going to go with Taker versus Cena, which more than likely that's going to be the case here. That's not the match that people would want to see. The match has never been on a main event level. The biggest match possible is Taker versus Cena at this point. And you want to try and feed us Reigns versus a Taker? No, hell no. I'll still watch it because I subscribe to the WWE Network, but I wouldn't pay $50 to see it if you still buy a traditional pay-per-view for. Anyway, back to the task at hand here. The Miz is eliminated by Taker. Zayn is eliminated by Taker. And then Taker is eliminated by Reigns. And rightfully, this gets booed out of the goddamn building. Loud chants of bullshit throughout for the next several minutes. And the final four ends up being Wyatt, Reigns, Orton, and Jericho. Jericho hits the full hour mark at about 10:35 p.m. That's what they acknowledge. Jericho is eliminated by Reigns following a Superman punch that knocks him off the top rope. Again, a lot of Superman punches, even during the time where he all he has to do is maybe body slam or do a little pushing and stuff. And no, it's a Superman freaking punch. Wyatt and Orton double team Roman, who fights out of it. Wyatt is eliminated by Reigns. Orton counters a spear with an RKO and eliminates Reigns and gets the win. This is Randy Orton's second Royal Rumble win of his career. And the rumors are that he is going to be facing Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, which means John Cena's 16th championship reign more than likely is going to be ending at the Elimination Chamber in 2 weeks' time, with Wyatt winning the title. That's been reported as being the big case here. So unless they're going to do Orton switching over to Raw, which you get Orton versus Owens at this point in time, so okay, that could be interesting there, but you don't want to take Orton off of SmackDown at this point, and you can easily go the full implosion of the Wyatt family with Orton vanquishing Wyatt and taking the title off of him at Mania, or have Wyatt go over Orton. Although at this point in time, I don't think that's going to help Wyatt's career much. It's really something that's coming out of nowhere, but it's an odd choice for a championship program if they're going to go that way. You could go Orton versus Cena, but I don't think that would be too positively receptive at this point in time. Unless Cena drops the title back to AJ and you're going to go AJ Orton, that there's a unique matchup there in terms of first time ever encounters. But again, I didn't see any rumors or anything speculating to that. So it's the only one I really seen was Orton versus Wyatt being kicked around as the program for the WWE Championship. That said, that will wrap this up here. I said, big show, lots of things to go over, and I took a ton of notes. Again, I had about 9 to 10 pages worth of notes here, and I'll post them all on my site so this way you can see exactly what I was reading down here. With that said, coming up in the basement, tomorrow being, of course, Monday, we got a new episode of Supergirl. And of course, I'm going to do cover the next episode of Doctor Who. Part 2 of the Space Museum will also be recorded tomorrow. More likely, I'll do that tomorrow evening after Supergirl. So this way, that's when to look for that. Tuesday, of course, we'll go over this week's episode of Gotham. Of course, The Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all throughout Tuesday. Wednesday, of course, we have episodes of Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow. Then we got a comic book review on Thursday. We're looking at Prophet #1 from Image Comics way back in 1993. It's a Rob Liefeld comic. And if you follow me on Twitter, you already know what I kind of think about it. Let's say, and of course, we're in the home stretch of Blue Seed, so we're going over another episode of that on Friday, with of course part 3 of Doctor Who Tales from the TARDIS. The Ghostbusters Containment Unit will be revisited this week as well, with reviews of both an episode of Extreme Ghostbusters and also the Real Ghostbusters. So we're going to hit that twice this week because I hit Treks and Voyages twice last week. So, compensate, be fair. And on that note, my friends, and you are my friends, please leave your thoughts and opinions regarding the 2017 Royal Rumble pay-per-view in the comments section below. If you disagree with me with anything that I said, and a lot of you will, possibly regarding the Owens-Reigns bouts and what I think about AJ Styles, but that's neither here nor there. Again, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. And so with that all said, be kind, please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Woo, that took a while.